Guys, and welcome back to another video, and as promised on the last one regarding the Seasonic Focus Gold Plus, here we are with the new NZXT H500i. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to disassemble all my system, which is on the NZXT H400i. I will leave a link down below so that you guys can compare the two cases, and after disassembling I'm going to reassemble inside the NZXT, with the exception of the power supply, which instead of being using my Snow Silent 750, which is a great power supply, but it's white, as I mentioned in the past, so I'm going to take this chance to put a proper black PSU, which we talked in the previous video. So if you are up for, let's go for it. And we are back, and as you guys can see, I've got the H500i at the back, fully assembled with all my system, Windows 10, macOS, everything working back. And right now I'm going to give you guys my feedback about it. But before we do, don't forget to check out the sponsor of this video, which is PureVPN, one of the fastest VPN services that I've used so far, with apps for almost any platform at an affordable price. So don't forget to check the link down below. And guys, starting with the topic of the build quality, comparing with the H400i, which I will do that a lot during this video. The H500i, it's completely made of a metallic alloy. The only pieces of plastic that I found were the two fans at the top and then the rubber feet at the bottom. So comparing to the H400i, it's a little bit superior in terms of build quality because it lacks plastics, which the H400i has at the front, a little bit of plastic on the cover. Now that being said, in terms of size, obviously it's a bit bigger than the H400i, which is a micro ATX case. This one fits a ATX motherboard. In my particular case, I'm using a micro ATX motherboard right over here, so I've got a gap right over there, or space. What I'm going to do is to get a PCI riser so that I can put my GPU vertically instead of horizontal, which will look a lot better, but that's optional and I will save that for another video. Now we can also see something very similar to the H400i, which is the blue metal bracket in the middle. We can remove this bracket, but in my particular case I find it useful for some cable management. It also has two 2.5-inch SSDs or hard drive trays mounted on the top of the PSU cage. As you guys can see, the PSU cage is totally solid on the front panel, and then at the top it has this grill, which is great for airflow, and that's where we are going to put the two 2.5-inch trays. It also comes, as I said, with two 120mm fans, which are very silent. One is at the top and one is at the back. Now on the top we will find a power button, two USB 3.0 ports, one headphone jack, a microphone and a LED, and also the grill for the top fan. And we can fit a 140mm fans. And one of the things that I would love to see here is the same system that I had on the H400i, which is a magnetic dust filter. And in this particular case we have a dust filter, but it's built in between the fan and the top of the case. But I think that it would look a little bit better if we have a magnetic dust filter right over there. Nothing serious, just a little picky, but I would love to see it. Now in terms of cable management, guys, really easy. We have a lot of space, and we also have that usual NZXT cable management routes, as you guys may see by some images. It also comes with a few velcros already, so I was very comfortable in the past working with the H400i, and I'm also very comfortable with the H500i in terms of cable management. Now it also comes with the adaptive noise reduction technology, which is basically a LED and fan smart controller, which what we will do is allow us to change the colors of the RGBs. By the way, we have two RGBs, one at the top and one beneath the bracket, and it will also control the fan speed according to the system load. So if we are pushing to the system, the fans will ramp up, and if the system is at idle, the fans will go at lower RPMs. Let me mention that those fans including, they are very silent even when they push to the maximum. Now at the bottom we'll find two dust filters, one small at the front and then one bigger on the PSU area, so that there isn't dust coming in. We will also find a hard drive cage that we can use for two 3.5-inch hard drives, or one 3.5 and one 2.5, which is what I'm doing right now with the 2.5-inch right over there. I will share with that in just a moment, but it's very easy to remove, insert the hard drive and then put it back. And then moving really quickly to my experience in terms of the assembly. Obviously it's a bigger case, so it's always easier to work on this bigger case. I did start to place my motherboard inside, and as I said, there is a lot of room, and for a micro ATX, which is what I've got at the moment, there is room to spare. Next I placed my all-in-one CPU cooler, the Kraken X42, and I did place it at the front, which to me seemed the better place to do it. It also can take bigger radiators, but for that I will leave a link down below so that you guys can check the full specifications of the case and check out the measurements of the GPUs and so on and so forth. Now storage was the next step, and in my particular case I'm using an M.2 SSD with my Windows 10, and then I'm using two 2.5-inch SSDs, one of which as my Mac OS, the other one as a clone of my Mac OS, and then on the 3.5-inch cage at the bottom of the case I did insert a 2.5-inch mechanical hard drive, which is where I've got my Steam library with some games. Then after that I did place my new Seasonic Focus Gold Plus 850 watts, and as you guys can see it is smaller than the PSU that I had, so a lot of room to spare and a lot of room for cable management and to hide some cables and so on and so forth. And then finally all I had to do was to place my GPU. At this moment I'm using an AMD GPU instead of my NVIDIA, especially because Mac OS, and I did explain that already in a few videos, so just check out the links down below, or if I forget to put the links then just search for Macintosh and you will have all the information there. But in terms of the GPU, I will do as I said, I will get from Amazon or somewhere else the PCI riser, which is basically a cable so that I can put my GPU vertically, which this case allows as an optional of course, and it will look good, or great to be more precise. And that is it. Hopefully this video was helpful to check out a little bit better the H500i, which is a great case. And if it was, don't forget that usual thumbs up. My name is Roberto, and as always I'll see you guys on the next one.